Hello and welcome or welcome back to the After Class podcast. Today's episode is a fun one. We're talking about my favorite ballet hacks. These are the little tips, tricks, and discoveries that have made my life as an adult ballet dancer easier, more comfortable, and just a little more enjoyable. Some of them I stumbled onto myself, and some were passed along by teachers or fellow dancers. But all of them have made a real difference for me. So let's get into it. Okay, first one, and I'm just gonna say it. If you've ever been personally victimized by a thin leotard or a cold studio, Cake's nipple covers are about to become your new best friend. You know the situation. You find a leotard you love, the color is perfect, the cut is flattering, the fabric feels amazing, and then you put it on, and suddenly you have what I can only describe as headlights. It happens to the best of us, and it can make you feel really self-conscious when you're trying to focus on your dancing. That's where Cakes comes in. I saw them on social media 2 or 3 years ago when I was facing this same problem, and I've used them basically every class since. And I'm still on my first pair, which I think says a lot about the quality. The ones I use are the grippy Cakes, which have no adhesive or glue. They're made from medical grade silicone, and they grip your skin using your body's natural heat. They're also dermatologist approved and are free from latex and plastics, so they're great even if you have sensitive skin like me. After class, you just rinse them off with some mild soap and warm water and let them air dry, and they're good to go. They come in a few different skin tone shades, and they really do disappear under thin fabric because they have this tapered edge. So no matter how thin your leotard is, they just disappear, which I haven't found with any other nipple covers. What I also love is that I don't just wear them for ballet. I wear mine under fitted shirts, swimsuits, or anything where a bra really isn't an option, but you still want a little coverage. So maybe things that have a wide open back, strapless, you know what I mean. So they really are the answer to so many of life's problems. I'll link them in the show notes, and honestly, they are one of my most used purchases of the last few years. And this isn't sponsored or anything, I just genuinely love these. I've actually recommended them to several of my friends that I dance with, and they really love them too, so I hope you like them. This next hack surprised me because toe spacers are usually talked about in the context of point shoes. But I've been using them in my ballet slippers for a couple years now, and honestly, I wish someone had told me sooner. If you have bunion pain or even just a little discomfort in the bunion area during class, a toe spacer slipped between your big toe and second toe can make a really big difference. It just gently realigns the toe and reduces the pressure on that joint and can make your time in the studio so much more comfortable. The ones I use are the medium-sized toe spacers by Russian Point, and I'll link them in the show notes. Hack number 3 was a revelation. If you've ever put on a pair of ballet tights, looked in the mirror, and found that the waistband has essentially cut you in half and created a roll where one did not previously exist, you know the particular frustration I'm talking about. The waistbands on tights can be ruthless, and when you're trying to focus on your technique, the last thing you need is to be tugging at your waistband every 5 minutes or feeling like you're being slowly sawed in half. There are 2 versions of this hack depending on how brave you're feeling. The first is a simple vertical cut. Just a small snip straight down into the waistband. This relieves tension without removing anything, and it can make a surprisingly big difference in comfort. The second is cutting the waistband off entirely. I know that sounds dramatic, but hear me out. The tights stay up. The body of the tight is what's doing the work, and once that restrictive band is gone, you're left with a smooth, comfortable fit that doesn't dig, roll, or cut into your skin. I've done this to multiple pairs, and I don't think I'll ever go back. So maybe start with a pair you're less attached to and see what you think, but I think you'll be converted. Speaking of DIY tight modifications, this one is for my fellow stirrup tight lovers. I am a huge stirrup tight person. I love how they look, I love how they feel, I love the way they enhance your arch. But here's the thing, not every brand makes stirrup tights, and some of my absolute favorite tights only come in convertible. So I just make them into stirrup tights. It's really simple. You just cut along the toe seam all the way across to create an opening for your toes to stick out. Then the hole that was already there becomes the heel opening. You may get some fraying, but honestly, it doesn't bother me. I kind of like the DIY look. And this is a pretty low stakes hack to try because the convertible opening is already there. You're not cutting into the body of the tights, you're just snipping along that toe seam and then you're done. So if you've been buying stirrup tights from brands you don't love, this is your permission to use the brands you actually love instead. Thank you to Frenchies for sponsoring today's episode. Frenchies hairpins have been a staple in my ballet routine for years. So when they launched their new premium scrunchies, I knew I had to have one. And they went all out with materials, real silk and luxurious cotton velvet. I've been sleeping in my fluffy ballet pink silk scrunchie every night, and my hair has never been happier. The silk reduces friction, minimizes frizz, and prevents creasing while you sleep, which means less damage over time and hair that looks and feels healthier when you wake up. For adult dancers who are constantly pulling their hair up, that kind of overnight recovery matters more than you might think. And of course, I have to mention the hairpins that started it all and remain my absolute go-to for ballet. Their unique velvet coating creates a no-slip grip that will hold your ballet bun or French twist in place through a full day in the studio, sweating, jumping, and turning. Plus, they're gentle on your scalp and come in color-matching shades, so they literally disappear into your hair. So whether you want to upgrade your ballet bun or your bedtime routine, visit FrenchiesHairpins.com, the official brand for ballerinas who love a good hair moment. Use code AFTERCLASS10 for 10% off your order. Links are in the show notes. This next one, hack number 5, is specifically for those of you who dance on point. And if heel slippage is something you deal with, this is a really simple fix. A light spray of rosin inside the heel of your point shoe will create just enough grip to keep the shoe from slipping off during releves and footwork. It doesn't affect the shoe itself, it doesn't make a mess, and it takes about 3 seconds to apply. You can find spray rosin at most dance supply stores or online, and it comes in a small spray bottle that's easy to throw in your dance bag. And I know some studios don't allow rock rosin because it makes a mess on the floor, but if you use your spray rosin outside the studio and you're spraying it on the inside of your shoe and the heel, I don't really think any teacher would mind because it's not going to translate to being on the floor. And while we're on the subject of heel slippage, here's a little bonus tip that pairs really well with this one. If you wear convertible tights with your point shoes, you should totally try this. Once your tights are over your toes, shift the opening so that instead of sitting under your arch on the bottom of your foot, it's sitting at your heel, leaving your heel exposed. Point shoes grip onto skin so much better than tights. And if you combine that with the spray rosin hack, heel slippage becomes pretty much a non-issue. These two have worked so well for me. And now, the last hack, and possibly the most unexpected one, but I think this might be one of my favorites. And it's to put on a hair mask before ballet class. I know it sounds weird, but stay with me. I would always see these hair treatments I wanted to try, but was like, when? When will I have 2 hours to sit around with a sticky head? Then one day I had an idea. I was putting my dirty hair into a ballet bun and thought, this would be the perfect time to pop on a hair mask. And here's why this works. Your hair is going up anyway. It doesn't matter if it's greasy or weighed down. In fact, product often makes your hair easier to slick back into a bun. No flyaways, no frizz, no issues. You go into class, you dance for an hour or two, and then you come home, shower, wash it out, and your hair feels incredible. You're literally doing something good for your hair during time that was already accounted for, so there's no extra time costs. It's honestly the most efficient self-care hack I've found. So if you've been neglecting your hair because you just can't find the time, I totally get it, but this is your sign. Slap on a mask, pin up your bun, and let class do the rest. So that's a wrap on today's episode. I hope these hacks were helpful, and I would love to know if you try any of them. So if you do, DM me over on Instagram at @thebusybunhead and tell me what you think. As always, all the links are in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time after class. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to share it with a friend or leave a quick review. It really helps more adult dancers find the podcast. All the links and resources we mentioned today are waiting for you in the show notes. And if you want more adult ballet content in between episodes, come hang out with me on Instagram at @thebusybunhead. See you next week after class.